The decline of Shanghai reflects the decline of China's economy. Some shopping malls are empty, with almost no people.
带大家看一下上海的老外街。
Let me show you Laowai Street in Shanghai. It's basically empty now. Although some shops still have their lights on, many shops are closed. I am now in the middle of Laowai Street. Looking around, there is no one here anymore. This used to be a rich area in Shanghai, and only very rich people would come here to spend money. This bar is open, but there is not much business, and very few customers are inside.
里面已经没有客人了。
A Shanghainese was visiting Shanghai with his friends from other places. He was saddened to see the depressing conditions of Hongqiao Station Nanjing Road pedestrian street and Shanghai Railway Station. He sighed, "Is this the epitome of the decline of family fortunes in Shanghai?" China's economy is declining, people's incomes are decreasing, and people's consumption habits are becoming more conservative. Shanghai's catering industry is facing a wave of closures, department stores are also in depression, and even long-established shopping malls cannot withstand the economic pressure and cease operations. Isetan Department Store, a large Japanese chain store with a history of nearly 140 years, has a branch on Nanjing West Road, Shanghai, located in Westgate Plaza. June 30th is the last day of business for this mall, officially ending 27 years of operation. On the same day, many regular customers went to Isetan Department Store in the rain to witness the last moment and took photos. At 6 o'clock in the afternoon, the Japanese person in charge and staff of Isetan Department Store lined up at the door and said goodbye to customers in Chinese. "Thank you very much for your support over the years." The older generation of consumers in Shanghai have a special attachment to this Japanese department store. In the 1990s, Isetan, with a century-old operating history, entered the Chinese market at the right time. At that time, the Chinese people were just getting to know the world's famous brands, and Isetan and Meilong Town was undoubtedly the showcase of Shanghai's high-end brands. The cosmetics counter on the first floor sells brand-name cosmetics priced at $200 each, which also meets the consumer needs of middle-class, white-collar women. The architectural design of Isetan is full of European style. The mall has a 7-story atrium. For Shanghainese in the 1990s, this undoubtedly made their eyes light up. At that time, other department stores in Shanghai looked very crude in comparison. Regarding the closure of Isetan, a Shanghai female netizen said that she was somewhat sad because it contains some memories of my youth.
我终于凭借着自己的努力，我去了中信泰富。当辰光，大家晓得，埃面搭3层楼就是比较顶尖的写字楼了嘛，就是比较贵，租金比较贵，只有那些500强的大企业才能够租得起。然后在中信泰富那时候上班的时候呢，我们就中午经常去恒隆、去精英那边去消费，然后晚上的时候呢，那辰光高头有的一只电影院，对吧？就是去看电影，对吧？搿辰光谈谈朋友啊，对吧？吹吹风啊，对吧？再跑跑马路啊，看看电影啊。实际高头嘛，侬想70、80后，阿拉搿代人都步入中年了，所以你看这个店它起起伏伏，其实我们跟它是共同在成长，所以讲也老正常的。
At its peak, Isetan once opened 10 stores in Shanghai, Tianjin, and other places. However, with China's economic downturn, Isetan's decline seems to be a foregone conclusion. Videos shot by netizens show that a few months before Isetan in Meilong Town announced its closure, this high-end department store was already empty. The Japanese ice cream shop that used to be famous in the past does not have as many people lining up as before. Isetan's Asian branches include Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand, but its branches in China have closed one after another. A few years ago, Shenyang Isetan had withdrawn from the market. On the last day of 2022, Chengdu Isetan closed its store, and now Shanghai Isetan has officially closed it. It's not the first Japanese department store to suffer dismal performance. Another Japanese high-end department store, Takashimaya, closed its flagship store in Shanghai in 2019 and stopped its business in China. Japanese high-end department stores have always targeted the wealthy and middle class as customers. Their products focus on items on sale and also on high-priced cosmetics and clothing. Nowadays, China's so-called middle-class consumers prefer products with high-cost performance. In the past, the quality and service of Japanese brands were the most acceptable brands for the middle class. Nowadays, even spending more than $140 makes them hesitate. Take Japanese cosmetics as an example. In the past year, the performance of Shiseido, Kao, and Procter & Gamble SK2 in the Chinese market can be described as bleak. Kao's annual net profit fell by 49%. Sales in P&G's SK2's performance in Greater China dropped by 34%, and most Japanese cosmetic brands have also begun to adjust their business scope. As a Japanese department store of a Japanese brand, the situation can be imagined. Just 1 month after Isetan closed its doors, the Shanghai Westgate Plaza, where it's located, also announced its closure. In its closure notice, the Westgate Mall said that after careful consideration, the Westgate Plaza, which includes a shopping mall, office building, underground parking lot, and other merchants and tenants except the U.S. Consulate General in Shanghai, will be closed starting from August 1st. It's a common reality that physical retailers face tremendous operating pressure. According to incomplete statistics, at least 35 department stores will close in 2022. According to statistics from the Retail Research Center of Lianshang.com, 21 department stores closed nationwide last year, including once popular, well-known department stores such as Pacific Department Store, Aeon, and Parkson.
就这条老外街上，其实还有很多商铺是开着的。
Many shops are open on this Laowai street. One half of them are open, and this one is also open. This one is very big, but there are not many customers inside. This one is also open, but there is no business at all. Everyone can see inside, and there are very few customers.
但是都没有什么生意，大家可以看到里面客人很少。然后这个
This is a 25% discount pizza, and there are not many people there. Business is not good now. This was the first time I saw so few people on Laowai Street.
但是生意不好啊。
Shanghai is China's largest city and the economic center of China. The decline of Shanghai seems to reflect the decline of China's economy. A lawyer named Wu once posted about her business trip to Shanghai on Weibo. It can be seen that Shanghai is no longer prosperous and has become more and more decadent. The article stated that on the afternoon of September 19th last year, she set off from Hangzhou to Shanghai. This time she went to Shanghai to handle some bankruptcy and liquidation cases. She said that 3 or 4 years ago in Shanghai, the economy was still very active and full of vitality, and entrepreneurs were ambitious and high-spirited. At that time, lawyers mostly dealt with cases such as listings, transactions, and mergers and acquisitions. Nowadays, lawyers mostly deal with bankruptcy and liquidation, which is really sad. Coming out of the train station, the lawyer took a taxi. The driver told her that the economy in Shanghai was so bad recently that he drove a taxi day and night. As a result, he couldn't afford to rent a house and had to eat and live in the car. The lawyer asked him, "What should I do if I take a bath? Go to the foot spa shop? It costs $14 to massage my feet and then take a free bath." The driver said, "How can we afford it? I waited in line at the train station for more than an hour today to pick you up. My back hurts so much. How can I afford to spend $14 for a foot massage? I always go to the charging station where there are free bathing places." The lawyer said, "Why is life so difficult?" The driver said, "Yeah, I used to stay in front of the bar waiting to pick up customers. But now women in the sex business are reluctant to take a taxi. They just scan a shared bicycle and ride it home." Lawyer Wu's experiences in Shanghai are reminiscent of another article widely circulated on the internet titled, "We are all sad that Shanghai is like this." The author accompanied foreign friends to visit Shanghai and witnessed the depressed current situation of Hangzhou Station Nanjing Road Pedestrian Street and Shanghai Railway Station and was deeply saddened. The author said that he had previously written in the article, "Only when I arrived at Hangzhou Station did I realize that Shanghai is really out of money." He described that the shops on both sides of the passageways in these waiting stations were closed. The lights were dim and the doors were locked. It's no longer as lively as it used to be, but the hall was bustling with people and extremely hot. Hangzhou was so frugal that it was reluctant to turn on the air conditioner at full capacity. When describing the most prosperous Nanjing Road pedestrian street in Shanghai, the article said that the entrance to the large landmark plaza was deserted. Only the top floors are open for business, and not many people go there. I wanted to eat at a restaurant on the 6th floor, but the elevators and escalators above the 2nd and 4th floors were closed, and they didn't even have the money to open the elevator. He wrote, "The most touching thing is Metersbahn Way. The door is closed and a few large characters that have not been cleaned are looming. The wires of the door headlights hang ugly in the air like a huge patch on the pedestrian street." This used to be a very valuable land. Shouldn't there be a large number of companies trying to come here? It said that almost all the shops in the underground passage of Shanghai Station are closed, so the author went to check them out. He wrote, Confirm what is said is true. Those selling stationery are closed. Those selling clothing are closed. Those selling phone cards are closed. Those selling mobile phone accessories are closed. Behind the rolling shutter doors that are pulled down one after another, how many sad stories of small business owners are there? The author believes that the 3 places he mentioned are representative. The small shops at Shanghai Railway Station are owned by small self-employed owners. The large shops at Hongqiao Station are owned by enterprises with medium financial resources. And the large shopping malls at Nanjing Road are owned by large enterprises and large groups. Now, regardless of whether it's a small business owner or big company, they are closing doors, making adjustments, and running away. Is this the epitome of Shanghai's declining family fortunes? Shanghai's the city with the best business atmosphere. The article aroused widespread resonance, with many netizens saying that cities such as Shenzhen, Chengdu, Wuhan, and Nanjing are more depressed than Shanghai. Stores in Shanghai have closed one after another, and the catering industry continues to be sluggish. A netizen named Li Min published an article describing a high-end restaurant that had only 1 table of people consuming food for nearly 2 hours at noon. That restaurant was on the Bund in Shanghai. It was a popular restaurant and surrounded by many financial institutions. Many people go there to have business meals, and even though the per capita consumption is nearly $70, it used to be hard to find a seat for a long time. But when people came here in January this year, they were shocked by the surprisingly deserted scene. Lunch lasted nearly 2 hours, and there were only a few people in the entire lobby. The private rooms they passed were also empty. A total of 14 financial institutions have their headquarters nearby. Many financial people go to that restaurant. In the past, the restaurant's business was very good during this time, but today's situation is something people never expected. High-end restaurants are deserted because financial practitioners who used to go there to spend money are bidding farewell to the era of high salaries. During the meal, someone lamented, "The year 2023 that just passed feels like the most miserable year since I entered the industry 20 years ago. Financial institutions have not directly laid off employees like internet companies, and there are basically no explicit salary cuts, but their business is bleak. Everyone's thinking is, just keep the job." Shanghai's catering industry is facing a wave of bankruptcies. In July last year, the Shanghai Laowai restaurant in Shujiai Wei also closed. This time-honored restaurant specializes in Shanghai cuisine and has been operating for 23 years. In the restaurant, you can see old antiques from Shanghai in the 1920s and 1930s. The layout of the lobby on the first floor follows the classical style, but it's integrated with Shanghai culture everywhere. It's a typical restaurant with a nostalgic theme. On July 21st last year, the logo of Shanghai Laowai restaurant was removed from its original building, which meant the official farewell to the old building. A Shanghai netizen lamented, "What a pity, I've eaten there many times and it's full of memories." That's all for today. If you like our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and share it with your friends. We appreciate your support. See you next time.